The Life of Sans in DDLC by Good Wow.
It's a great name.
It's a great name.
Good wow.
I had much wow just by reading this already. Chapter 1, the Prologue. How would you say that game?
Prologe.
Prologe. The script was something Sans had to follow no matter what happened. And when he didn't follow it, things would change. During one of the earlier runs, after 327 straight genocides, Sans became determined in stopping the resets and killed everyone, though that only caused the timeline to fracture off, with him keeping the memories of what happened and no one else. To say Sans had gone crazy would be an understatement. He went crazy multiple times, which led to the creation of many different AU versions of himself, known as Dust, Horror, and Killer, being the most prominent, as the ones did not have enough prominence to continue existing or had gotten existed. The point is that Sans could remember doing everything he did in each of those AUs, but he doubted they could remember as he did due to home fracturing off from it, taking his memories with him to go back into the loop. One sentence.
Great start to the story so far.
That was one sentence. Holy smokes, man. Are you supposed to do sentences in one breath? Isn't that the...
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, this person obviously is...
Very good lung capacity. He had met his AU versions of himself. Oh, hi, Mark. So dumb. Oh my god. How would... I'm not... Whatever. And there was this event they all had to go through, but now it was not time to talk about that as it happened far in the past already. Author,
what was the event that they all had to go through?
What?
That's like so vague. Are they talking about like the genocide? I'm like not really sure the lore behind this so far.
Well, he's clearly emphasized something that's extremely important, but he doesn't want to talk about it since it already happened. Which, in any other story and franchise, the things that happen, the deep, dark backstory is actually a huge part of the story, but this author's the guts to say, no, man, it's the past. Let's just, not whatever, man.
Well, man, how are we going to get to the DDLC shipping?
You're right.
If we were going to spend all the time talking about, like, stupid Sans OCs or whatever.
And what's the best place to put a skeleton who has killed his friends over 200 times? High school, man.
Yeah,
with
man.
Underage, young, adult, older
Children.
kids. Yeah, man. That's the best way to put, best place where to put the Sans, man. Also, like, I don't even understand. He did not explain how this Sans just knew about these AUs. Or how, like... I'm so confused, man. This makes no sense.
Yeah, there's no real, like, central point. Like, I guess, like... Is there a place, like, in between the games? Or are they all taking place in, like, the same, like, game universe? Not very well defined.
He got along with every version of himself that he met, either through time or just hitting it off the bat. And to relating to what each of them have gone through and is still going through.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
It's a lot of versions of yourself to get along with, I guess.
I mean, they're all murderers. They've all
true.
killed their friends hundreds of times. They have a lot to relate to, man.
Well, yeah.
Or maybe
who else is he going to hang out with? It's not like Undertale has a ton of characters to talk to.
That's true, man. Even though the fact they're AUs, right? So are they saying that all the AUs killed... Oh, over 300 times, sorry. All the AUs of Sans became you know, is there one innocence?
Are they all insane? Are they all insane like the original Saiyans, or like did some of them mellow out?
Maybe one of them. Maybe it was just this one Saiyans, and the rest were actually therapists.
I do like the concept that like Sans has gone like completely like insane, even though in like the actual game itself he's like really chill and just like doesn't really care about anything.
The resets weren't ever going to stop, so why bother? Really? When you were forced to do the same thing over and over again, because you know what? Isn't this like what's that Greek tale? The person pulling up the rock over and over again. Is this what this where this?
Oh, the Sisyphus, yeah, where it's like, he pulls the boulder up the hill, but once he gets before he gets to the top, it always like goes back down.
Also, why do you specifically have to murder everyone each time if it's just gonna reset each time? Like, where's your imperative? Maybe not killing everyone will not Dude, I don't know what's going on, man. This is trash. Because if you did something different, you would not only cause the formation of another AU, but paying for one of the closest friends' error, as he was tasked to be the destroyer of AUs to keep the balance. Wait, okay, so not killing everyone would cause pain for someone to kill AUs? Not killing everyone would create a new AU?
Does destroying AUs like hurt him physically? If that's his job, if that's like his task, wouldn't you just be giving him like more stuff to do, as in like a purpose in life? Or does he have other things to do? Like, I don't really get it.
Well, the thing that really stands out to me, man, is the creation of an AU because no one died. But if you never killed anyone in the first place, then killing people would actually be the thing to create the AU. So you've created no imperative for this person to constantly kill. Also, who cares if there's like... Why? You know, whatever, man, whatever. All the Saiyans in the multiverse by now knows about the balance, and Error and Ink had formed a deal in which if the balance was upset, they would counteract it with destroying if there were too many, of creating if there is below amount of AUs to keep the balance. What?
Dude, all I can wonder now is like, obviously the story isn't finished. And judging by the date the story was published, I don't think it's going to be finished.
Yeah.
But I do wonder if in the mind of the person who was writing this, if they actually had like a plan on following this up. Like if this was going to like come later in like a plot line where it's just like, yeah, we're going to have to destroy your like entire universe because it like fucking like destroys the balance, I guess, whatever that means. That like extremely vague like excuse to basically do whatever, because like so far it's like they're establishing so much like lore and rules to the universe, but with like basically no reason to do so. Like there's just no reason to explain this at all.
I'm a little confused, but this lore is confusing me more than anything. Like, for instance, like, is Ink one of this Sans friends?
Well, yeah, man, he's friends with all the different AUs of himself, because why have conflict?
So the Saiyans that did kill things and Saiyans that killed no one are friends? So Saiyans who killed his brother is friends with Saiyans who likes and loves his brother who's still alive?
Yeah, I guess so.
And they like look at each other and like in their deep eyes, like, you know, giving themselves, you know, like a deep, meaningful conversation, you know, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, my brother talks about this a little bit, man. You know, and then like and then they have the awkward moment where they like what would happen, man? Like the awkward moment is like, oh yeah, man, I killed my brother, man. He kind of sucks, man. I just killed him, man. He was whatever, man. And the other
did say he got along. He did say he got along with every version of himself, either through time. So you know, it's not like it happened immediately. He did give his like murder brother killing brother some time to like get to know each other. I'm sure that would solve the issue, you know.
So it's just one of those things you work through. Okay.
Yeah, basically.
I see. Right. Okay. All the sands in the multiverse had chilled out and were now just hanging around when they had nothing to do or just wanted to visit the others. Okay. These sands include those who didn't have an AU to go back to, or didn't have one in the first place. What?
Nice. So there's like AU refugees. That's great lore.
Well, there's sands that didn't actually exist in the universe in the first place, which makes me question a lot, actually. Like,
well,
where are they meeting? Where are they meeting? Is it
what
like
is
this...
the first place? That actually doesn't make sense because they do say in the first place, which would assume that they didn't have an AU.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You
at
didn't
all.
have a universe to begin
That's
with.
really stupid.
Like, so is it like a picnic, like a park with like a picnic table where they all hang out and have a barbecue, like in between all the universes? Like, where are they hanging out?
Maybe Sans only went half crazy. So, he only made half of an AU.
I'm also confused. Is it like... I genuinely don't understand how Sans, who by definition does not exist in the universe, comes to exist in this, like, random space. I'm so confused, man. This is stupid as heck. What's going on? Sans usually had the least amount of time to hang out, as he was the original. Okay? Wow, taking some superiority. Dude.
Yeah, man.
What would it be like to be in the life of an AU, realizing that your life is by nature less meaningful than another version of yourself? Like, how do you live your life, man, when you realize that your life is less meaningful than some other version? Which, by the way, can I point out the fact that apparently Original Sans is the one that murdered everyone, I think?
Well, Sans became determined in stopping the resets and killed everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, like... The Original Sans is the one that I don't... whatever, man. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't actually make it that clear of, like, what happens in what happens in, like, the original timeline. Because it says him killing everyone caused the timeline to fracture off with him.
But is
keeping
that the
memories
original
of what
Sans?
happened. So, yeah, that is the original Sans. So, does it actually reset, or does the... Well, he wanted to stop the resets, I guess, and somehow killing everybody vaguely might achieve that goal, although it doesn't really...
What would the correlation to be? So you're Sans, and you're, like, dealing with, like, this time loop that only you're conscious of, and you could just suddenly a light bulb sparks in your head saying, wow, the way to stop reality shifting back and forth is to kill my friends. Like, where's the connection here?
Look, I don't know, man.
Stop time travel, killing friends. I'm not seeing the correlation, man. I'm sure many people in real life have killed their friends, and believe it or not, have not dealt with any. Maybe that's because they weren't going through a time loop. That was their issue. But, like, I don't know, man. You have to spend most of the times in his AU to keep the balance. Sure.
Yeah, the Original Sans AU.
That's... Also, like, the balance...
Isn't that the original universe?
Is the original...
Not an alternate universe?
Is the original universe the one, like, creating the alternate universes?
I think so. But is that creating all the alternate universes? Is a question.
So
also, how?
Here's an interesting question. If the time loops represent alternate versions of like the AUs, then like how would he be even dealing with loops in the first place? Because the moment you loop is you're in a different AU, meaning that like he wouldn't really be dealing with the original Sans would not be dealing with the loops in the first place.
Yeah.
So, like, he killed all of his friends to stop the looping that he wasn't experiencing himself?
I don't know.
To stop the AUs from being created?
Well, yeah, I guess it did say that he didn't want to create more AUs, I guess.
Okay.
Somehow staying in the original.
We spent a lot of time
AU.
with this first part.
Well, the thing is that the greatest part about this shit is that it comes fucking, like, it just has no impact on the rest of the story whatsoever.
Yeah, man.
This is just, like, really pointless.
Yeah.
And it's also extremely confusing.
Alright. That in itself wasn't that bad, but slowly but surely they stopped visiting him, which did hurt, he had to admit. But he always gave excuses for them, as they were his friends. 82,651 resets later, it's been a while since they had visited, huh? Sans thought as he curled up in his bed. Maybe they forgot. Not that it mattered, but it's... Oh, he's saying that. Not that it mattered, but it still hurt. That's, okay. 165,704 resets later. I can't take this anymore. You know, man, I'm really bad with the Sans voice, man. Maybe you should do it.
Oh, you want me to be Sans?
Yeah, be Sans, man. You've the better, deeper voice.
I'm sure. I can't take this anymore. When will they stop, please?
Yes! Dude, okay. So, assuming that he is dealing with these resets, man, like, 165,704 resets. I don't think you realize just how long that is, man. Like, if you count that as, like, say the reset's 1 month, man.
Yeah.
That's so many years, man.
Who's this guy who keeps playing Undertale, dude? They must be obsessed.
Yeah, and, like, so, I don't even understand, man. That is such a long time to reset the same month, day, maybe, like, week. Dude, I'd get crazy, man. Like, 82,000 is too much, dude. I don't think the author realizes how big these numbers are. And, you know, sometimes, like, the reason why you don't really think how big these numbers are, man, just try to count to 100,000, man. Try to count to 100,000. It is a lot longer than you think it is. And imagine that every single second that you count, right, every single number you reach is 1 week's worth of time.
Yeah, it's like a 6-hour game? Undertale takes about, like, 6 hours to beat.
Oh, perhaps, yeah, maybe 6 hours then. But it would be like a week in the game, perhaps, right?
Yeah. But, like, 300,000 times. Almost 400,000 times, you know?
I 100% bet you Groundhog Day did not go through 82,000 loops. No possible way. He would have gone insane. And, like, he went through, like, clearly a lot of freaking resets just to go, like, just to finally say something else, man. I don't know how to feel about this, man. This is completely ridiculous and bonkers, dude. What was it, like 66,000 or something like that? Resets before he said something
60?
else about it. And then, like, another, like, ridiculous amount. This is sheerly, impossibly illogical, I feel. With, like, even if he's really kind of a passive guy, man. He's thinking a lot, man. He's thinking a lot.
Yeah.
after that reset, things became easier. After that like the 782 resets later, I don't feel anything anymore.
Oh, right, sorry.
It's alright.
I don't feel anything anymore. Dude, he's depressed.
Yeah, he's depressed, man. After that reset, things became easier for Sans to pretend during the runs, as all he had to do was the same thing he did so many times. And now he had done it so many times, he couldn't feel anything anymore.
There was no point. Why even try? Just give up. I did.
I don't think that's the proper punctuation for that. Just give up, I did. Yeah, it's kind of to put in perspective, like, I don't think people realize how fragile they are, like, in terms of psyche, man. Like, didn't they do this experiment where they, like, put people in, like, a room without stimulation? Like, just blindfolds overhead and see how long they last, and they didn't even last 2 days or something like that. And it was supposed to be for, like, a month or something like that, or even a week. Like, people are, like, so... I'm not talking about skeletons, of course, but human beings are so fragile to the point where if you keep repeating over and over again, everything that happens will be such little stimulation to you that you're essentially putting yourself in this kind of, like, essentially a deprivation chamber of life. You won't just... I feel like you won't just have... I feel like they're really underplaying this, honestly.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. I mean, Saint's a pretty chill guy. I'm sure it doesn't matter for him.
Yeah, Sans is chill. He doesn't feel anything anymore anyways, so...
Repeated over and over again within his mind until something changed. He didn't do anything to cause this. It just changed by itself, as it seemed to have pity for the skeleton. What, the thing that changed had pity? As a self-conscious being? What's going on? Things began changing until Sans, the skeleton, no longer existed? What? Within the multiverse. Or at least the original didn't exist here anymore. No one even noticed, as his disappearance was covered up very well. What? As the ones controlling his world couldn't tell what was even missing? The people that were controlling his world covered him up so well, but they didn't even know he was missing.
No, he just, like, disappeared from wherever he was, and the people who were, like, I guess controlling his world, whatever that means, couldn't tell that Sans was missing, or whatever.
Yeah, but how are they supposed to cover him up if they don't even know he's missing?
Well, they covered up his disappearance so well that they didn't know that he was missing.
Doesn't make any sense!
Well, it doesn't really explain anything as to why he disappeared, aside from just saying...
He was so dead inside that he literally just ceased existing.
He just vanished.
It's like super suicide, man. Where not only are you suicidal, man, but you're like existentially suicidal, where you pop yourself out of existence.
Well, he just lost the will to continue existing in this multiverse, and I guess
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, it's time for my dialogue. Have you ever thought about a world where everything is exactly the same, ... except you don't exist? Everything functions perfectly without you. Ha ha ha! The thought terrifies me.
You didn't seem very sad the way you said it, man.
Well, Sans doesn't seem very sad, although he's very sad on the inside, you know.
You said this in his non-existence?
Yeah. That's the last thing he thought, I guess, in his mind before something changed. He didn't do anything to cause it. It just changed by itself. Well, man, how'd you feel about the prologue?
The prologue, I mean, very heavy lore. None of it's gonna matter, which I don't really feel is the purpose of a prologue. But I guess it sets up the feeling of the piece, which is nonsensical. And Sans is sad, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. You know what the sad part, man, is? You know what the sad part is? In concept, dude, it makes total sense for life to exist without you, man, and work perfectly fine. Because if you didn't exist in the first place, like, what would be the problem? Like, very clearly, if you didn't exist, everything else would. And clearly it would still function anyway. Like,
yeah.
I know it's kind of like I'm 13 and this is deep.
Well, I guess that's why I explained why Sans just noped out of existence.
That's what he did. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say about this, man. Like, I don't even understand what was the purpose of the AUs, actually, to be honest.
Well, it's to punctuate that Sans is feeling alone and by himself. I guess.
What, they didn't have any friends in his actual reality and was depending on... Imagine the only friends you have are alternate versions of yourself. Isn't that another form of, like, loneliness in itself?
That is really sad.
Alright, guys.
I mean...
Chapter 2! Woo, dude!
Well, Chapter 2, it technically isn't Chapter 2, because it's also Chapter before 1, but after Prologe.
I see!
So, you know...
All right,
we still got a bit to go before we get to chapter fucking 1.
Oscar-winning performance here, Gabe. Oscar-winning performance. Let's hear it.
Okay, alright. What happened? Where am I?
Sans thought, as he began looking around. He was in a room not too big, like his one back home, and not too small either. This is like a true Goldilocks story going on here. But it was just right. Actually, the similarities between this room and his old one continued as he noticed a stockpile in the corner. Stockpile? Stockpile. Yeah. Dude, he was doing stocks.
Oh.
Yeah, it was... I don't even know what to say, man. Stockpile in the corner.
Stockpile. Huh.
That was a very aggressive... Sans
yeah, I was confused.
You aggressively confused. I'm aggressively confused. Sans thought as he reached his hand up to scratch his skull. That's when he noticed something unfamiliar. What was this texture his hand was rubbing against? He had the same feeling when he would pat Frisk on their head back in the first pacifist timelines. It was like he had hair.
Wait, that's not possible.
You really had to segment those as two separate lines in single quotation marks undercased. Sans. Why is Sans lowercase, by the way? Can I ask that? Am I allowed to?
I don't know.
Not only is it lowercase as a name, but it's also lowercase in the front of its sentence. Sans then began looking at himself and saw that he was covered in skin like a human would. His skin was pale, almost resembling the whiteness of snow when sunlight first hit it.
Okay, this was new.
Where is the was in past tense? He got used to it so quickly that while he was saying the sentence, he was already used to it.
Yeah.
My God. What color is Sans hair, man? Is it bright blonde?
No, it's I think it ends up being white, isn't it?
What?
Oh, it doesn't even describe it here. I think it describes it later on in the story as it being white.
Sans began getting up to leave the room. He was in as he was admittedly curious, as this was all so new. When he capitalized something. Oh, I guess he does. He capitalizes things except for when it's Sans, which is a name, which feels so wrong. When he got to the door of the room, he turned the knob and headed out into what looked like a balcony overlooking a living room, much like his old home.
Neat.
He has an indoor balcony?
Well, yeah, you remember the house in the original Undertale?
Oh, perhaps. Neat.
Yeah, it is pretty neat, right?
Yeah, I guess it would be neat. He is like some sort of designer studio as like a high school student. Spoilers.
Well, he also has no parents, so
Gabe,
he's like a fully grown adult who's lived through at least.
This is the laws of anime, man. There are no parents, dude.
Well, also considering the fact that Sans has lived through almost 400,000 resets, would assume that he's probably lived long enough to at least be the age of an adult.
You think, man? If it was like 3 days, man, and 300,000, man, like holy smokes, dude. I know he's a skeleton, but like, he's probably lived longer than like most human beings. Period. Should I do the math here? Should I really do the math here?
You don't have to do the math.
All right.
I think the point has been made.
He proceeded to walk straight towards the stairs down into the now identified living room, which was relatively clean, besides from a few books scattered around that were all related to subjects that Sans had studied before. That seems very awkward, Sans.
What?
It seems like an awkward sentence.
Into the now identified living room, which is relatively clean, besides from a few books scattered around that were all related to subjects that Sans had studied before.
I guess.
I think it's a lack of punctuation that makes this really messy. I don't know.
Every single sentence is a paragraph. Like, no joke. He separates sentences apart. The books range from quantum physics, darn dude, the theory of relativity, darn dude, and his least favorite due to his personal experience with them. What? What's his least favorite? I'm sorry. Oh no, that's just one. Okay.
It explains it after the.
There was a book about the many worlds interpretation. What? So, I guess he just feels abandonment from himself, which is such a stupid thing to say. He shrugged it off, though, and continued to move to where... I love how also that, like, in this new reality, kind of like this sort of... His such massive depression to the point where he nopes himself of existence is completely cured. Like, he wouldn't just nope himself out of every existence if the logic still stands that you can nope yourself in existence from that much depression.
Well, he just did it from that existence. It just simply sent him to another state of existence, I guess.
He shrugged it off, though, and continued to move to where he believes the bathroom was, and to help confirm his suspicions on the current situation. Ah, yes, whenever I'm confused in the morning, I look in the bathroom and go, yes, I understand. Oh no, I guess he's talking about his human self. Right. About 2 minutes of wandering the living room later, he found 2 minutes. So he continued to move to where the bathroom was, and that took him 2 minutes.
Also, considering the fact that this looks exactly, apparently, like his old house.
Yeah.
It takes him 2 minutes to find the bathroom in his own house.
Dude, he lives in a mansion. Let's be honest here. It took him 2 minutes to walk there, man. He found found the washroom and walked in. It was mostly bright white and very clean. Yeah, man. Someone living by themselves, they clean the washroom very frequently or enough for it to be very clean. I doubt that very much. Especially a high school student, give me a break. There was a toilet on the right side of the room with a shower/tub on the other side of the room, and finally a sink on the left with a mirror just above it. Wait, so I thought since on the other side of the room, I thought that the shower and tub would be on the left side, because you were talking about the right side of the room previously. Does that mean that, like, the sink and the mirror and then the I need to look at the original layout of the Undertale, I guess.
Yeah, I can look at that.
It's fine. It's really I'm taking a lot of detail out of this fan fiction for some reason. Sans went left to the mirror and saw that he was indeed correct. He'd become a human, and a relatively young one at that. He looked around 14/15, around the age at which someone would be starting high school. Or at least that's what Sans knew anyway. Great.
Yeah, Sans just knows that.
Well, yeah, dude.
Which raises questions, but...
Was there a school in Undertale?
I'm going to search up Undertale school and see if I get any good results.
I mean, there's clearly kids, but, like, is there a school?
Does Frisk go to school?
That's
Is Undertale coming back in 2020?
That's...
Undertale... No,
Yeah, I don't think there is a school, man.
I guess I go to the Undertale wiki, find this out.
When he said his skin had a resemblance to snow, he didn't consider the fact that his hair would somehow top it. Okay, it was a pristine white, with the resemblance of newly dropped snow, viable through the pale light of the moon, preserving the pristine whiteness the snow contained. Darn, dude, that's like the most vivid description of anything he's put into, like, in this entire story. Basically, his hair was just a very beautiful looking white. His mind said, making him chuckle a little about the bluntness. Oh, dude, what are you doing, man? You're being so blunt about your hair color.
Well, I guess this entire description, I suppose, was going through his head.
And then he was just
Wait,
like,
hold on.
It's white. And he laughed because it was blunt.
Okay, why would he laugh at the bluntness of his hair being white?
That's what I was commenting on.
That him laughing at that only makes sense if that previous description he had also thought.
Yes.
Also, why does that have to say his mind said? That is a very weird way of saying he thought. His mind said.
Well, to be fair, there's a lot, like, even when I'm writing, I have a hard time, like, just saying he said or he thought, because you say that a lot, and that type of repetition's frowned upon, but still, his mindset is very weird. His eyes were also interesting. Of course they were. Dude, imagine if Sans just appeared in a universe where he was just an ugly, generic-looking teenager. His eyes were also interesting as they resembled his old ones, with white pupils surrounding by a black outline. Dude, you should get that checked out by a doctor if you're a human, man. Dude, that would be very creepy, right? Like, seeing someone with, like, white pupils and black, like, everything else.
That actually does sound really fucking creepy.
That sounds creepy, man. Sans wondered for a second if he still had magic. Suddenly, both of his eyes lit up. Not the one eye. His left in a light blue and his right in a bright yellow. It's so stupid. He just has magic.
So I still have magic, huh?
He tried summoning a few. Dude, that is very anime for him to do something. For him going, I wonder if I do this. Then it explains what he does. And then he says, then I did this. 3 levels of redundancy. The intent, the actual thing happening, and then characters explaining what has happened somehow. I personally think it's kind of stupid, but like, whatever. He tried summoning a few attacks, and it worked out pretty well. He just started attacks at his home?
In his bathroom, of course.
His very clean bathroom. That he clearly spent a lot of time cleaning. As who else would be cleaning it? A few bones. A gaster blaster or two? Holy smokes, dude. He's like obliterating his washer for no reason. All in all, it worked pretty well. Or maybe better than before. Really? Because he didn't really feel tired. I thought being a human would make him more tired than being a skeleton. How does that even work?
Well, he's just more of an epic person.
After that, he walked back into the living room to see a green couch. He passed in his search for a bathroom and took the liberty of sitting on it. What? Oh, I see what he's saying.
Yeah, it's the green couch he spent 2 minutes passing earlier, you know?
But here's the thing, man. It's like it's suggesting that he mentioned the bathroom previously in the story, but I don't think he did. I don't think he mentioned the green couch, despite the fact that he said to see a green couch he passed in his search, implying that, whatever, man. Let's continue.
Alright, so I'm on the surface as a human with all my powers and no idea how I got here. Could be worse.
Really? Sans said as he began slouching down in the couch and began dozing off. I love how he's also saying this himself. But himself.
Yes.
Like, dude.
Well, that's a problem for future me. I think I'm just gonna take a nap and deal with this later.
Here's something a lot of people don't think of when they read this, man. Imagine if you're watching a movie and someone's saying this to themselves, and how, like, you'd think to your head how stupid that looks. About someone by themselves saying what they're doing, what they're going to do to themselves. It clearly doesn't work as well as you think it does when you're writing it here. Just saying. Sans proceeded to fall asleep in almost no time at all.
I love how, like, 3 sentences before he said he didn't really feel tired, and then he just immediately falls asleep right afterwards.
Yes! I didn't even think about that. What an interesting day that was. Yeah.
That was really interesting.
You literally got up of bed, went to the washroom, blew the washroom up, and slept on the couch.
Yeah.
That is literally
really
all
productive.
you did. You didn't even eat, I don't think, either.
No, he just fell asleep. You just got it.
Yeah, that's what I do. Like, wake up at like 10 or something like that on like a Sunday, destroy the washroom and go to sleep on the couch at like 10:30. Like, I probably should have wrote this in the Prologe, but guess I'm gonna put it here. in the Prologe Part 2. Oh, this is the second part to the Prologe. Gotcha.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, it's chapter before 1, but after prologue.
Let's see the important information he forgot to leave out that was so important to leave this author's note that's unlabeled, by the way. To put it in here, man. Let's see what's so important. Please do a review on your thoughts and opinions on this story so I can see what your opinions are. That is so redundant. Leave your review on your thoughts and opinions so I can see what your opinions are? Really? And if it's excessively rude, then I just won't care about it. Really? That's what you gotta say, man? What you've essentially said is, I want to hear your opinion so I can see your opinion. If your opinion's bad, I don't care. I won't care about it.
So I don't really want to see... so it's yeah, whatever.
Alright, next chapter, boys!
Alright, we gotta go to Prologe.
We're
gonna go to Prologe part... Yeah. Gotta go to Prologe part 3.
No!
Yeah, third prologue. There's more prologue than actual story.
I mean, clearly, when your story literally had Sans wake up, go to the washroom, and then go back to sleep for the entire day, that's what he did. You know, there's
well, you needed to describe him walking around his house and being confused in excruciating detail.
No, man. The
kind of story
thing that he wanted to express was that he had hair, man.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And let me chuckle at the bluntness of me saying that, man, that he has hair.
That is really funny. I mean, if you've been bald your entire life, then I guess, you know.
He's a skeleton, man. He was
skeletons are technically bald.
After Sans' nap, he did a little digging with the world he was in. Oh, so now he just has access to the world code? Like he just
I also love how the nap is in, like, quotation marks. As if he didn't just, like, fall asleep, basically.
Dude, how stupid is it, man, where someone just wakes up in an alternate world and he's like, let me just, oh, by the way, I can control the world, man. I can dig through the quote-unquote code.
Yeah, man.
That is not explained, by the way. Even if the nope out of existence is explained, him just randomly being able to dig through, like, world code does not make any sense, man. Although, does that sound a little overpowered, man?
Yeah, I was just thinking that, actually.
Like, really freaking broken, man? Granted, all he could do was look at a couple things and maybe change a few things here and there. Oh, yes, man. Let me just change how the world and reality works. Oh, unfortunately, I can only change a little bit of it, and I can still look through how reality works as a whole.
Not overpowered character, guys. They took some nice precautions to make sure their character wouldn't seem too unrealistic.
By the way, being able to look at the code of the world seems overpowered in its own, even without editing, man. You know that's omnipotence, isn't it? Not being able to see everything and know everything about the universe, man.
And be able to, like, manipulate it to a certain extent, even if it's not, like...
Even knowing everything, all human knowledge, man. Anything. Or just how things work, or, like, things that are not out of your visible range, what's going on. That's really overpowered. I don't think... Whatever, man. The changing aspect of it is even more broken, but... Like, come on, man. Why? You can only change a few things here and there due to his experience and friendship with beings who could destroy and alter code. Oh, there's the reason, man. Sorry, man.
Well, of course.
He's friends with someone who could do it, so he can too. Oh,
well, you know, maybe they taught him in school.
Dude,
in Undertale school.
Dude, I really wish I could just befriend an Olympic athlete and just run a marathon. You know what I'm saying? I mean, really. Dude, imagine if you were friends with God. You could Sans being friends with God means he could be God, man. Makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it does make sense.
Apparently, the world he was in is called Doki Doki Literature Club. That's the entire world's name. It's just Doki Doki Literature Club. It's an entire universe of Doki Doki All Literature Club. Where he was listed as Sans dash number bracket tilde 1 straight line?
I don't know.
I don't know what. He was also apparently going to transfer to some high school that he couldn't get the location of, as it was an afterthought. What? And didn't really say where it was. What was the school an afterthought to reality? Did it just poof into existence? Despite the fact that the entire world is based around a club inside the school? How does that work, man? Is this like a school? Was his transfer an afterthought? Also, why would he need to be transferring that? Dude, I'm so confused, man. Lore dumps make no sense, man. Was he like he just came into the world, man? So why would it be relevant that he's transferring to a new school, right?
Yeah, it doesn't really make it clear. If okay, yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. Was he? That was.
So did this world exist before he came into it, or did the world just suddenly have him exist inside this world as it's happening?
Well, every action is an equal opposite reaction, so he noped himself out of reality and he yepped himself into another reality.
Well, okay, actually, did he himself do it, or was it something else?
Yeah, I know. He yepped himself into creating a new reality where he was a part of, which happened to be a different canon universe.
Yeah, I guess so.
I love this story. I love this story simply from the sheer amount of unrealized implications of the author's works. Like, just how much things I don't feel like he fully considered when writing this. Or perhaps he just didn't consider in general because it would rip apart his story. Like, maybe we're reading it wrong or something, but there's just so much to unpack, man.
Pac-Man? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. That was about the extent he could read, as he himself couldn't see or interact with the plot? What? Is this universe the fanfiction itself? The story? The video game? As if...
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, he could... this was about the extent he could read, as himself couldn't see or interact with the plot.
Yeah, I guess he couldn't change the events of the story. He could just see its code or something of the game.
But that implies that it's actually the game universe he's inside. Like the universe exists as a game in another universe, or a story in another universe.
Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to go for.
Which is completely bizarre. And what?
Does that imply that games are themselves alternate universes that actually exist? Or is this a universe where the game exists and he just so happens to be inside the game in this universe?
Well, the thing that's interesting to me is it says the world he was in was DDLC. So clearly DDLC exists in its own world.
Yeah. So I guess the universe itself is a game
that exists in another universe. So it's like a universe that is dependent on another universe to exist.
Yeah, I guess so.
Which Dude, man, the metaphysics, man, of the life of Sans in DDLC is more interesting than the story itself, man. I'm calling it here, man.
Or are you saying that watching Sans like walk around his house isn't interesting?
For 2 minutes, but only said so.
And looking at himself in the bathroom mirror
And, really
and describing his hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really notices his hair.
As if he would have a long time ago.
Wait, a long time ago, as in like a day ago when he first arrived in this universe?
So
is that what he means by a long time ago?
Did he just pop into this universe to the point where he existed in this universe for a long time already and knew of it? And could have done
No, I don't think that's it at all. I think this line just doesn't make any fucking sense.
Though it seems that his appearance in this world has caused it to change as well. What? Him existing changed the plot of the game.
Okay.
Okay. It seems that the player of this game can no longer access it. What the heck?
Really? Okay.
So it's a game you can't play.
It just kind of exists.
But that
You just lost media.
So here's a fundamental metaphysical problem. Can I get all metaphysical with this, okay?
Okay.
So, when you open up a game, man, that's when the game is on, and the game world is quote-unquote active, perhaps. If the player is unable to play the game, the chances are they're probably going to not play the game, and the game's going to be off. They're not going to leave it on with them not playing.
Well, does the game progress? Like, the game can't progress unless somebody's playing it. Unless it doesn't, which is what this story implies.
Well, from what I'm understanding, the person is sort of looking at their computer while the game is doing things by itself, like a movie. Perhaps.
That's really stupid.
Or maybe
Why would anybody want to do that?
On the title screen, he's not able to access the game, but the universe still exists. But the plot doesn't progress. But the plot can progress now with Sans being there. So the game progresses without the character being there, the player being there. Dude,
that's stupid. That's really stupid.
Maybe the universe exists without the game. The plot of the game progressed without the game being open, which doesn't make any sense. Or can
Why would you even specify this? First of all, let's just ask this question.
You could have done just anything, man. Oh,
you could have just
DDLC exists. Sans pops in. There's no game.
Yeah.
But the thing is, DDLC is meta about it being a game. So like.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is so.
Okay? I've never played DDLC, but yeah, you're right. Like, isn't the entire point that like the player existing?
Well, the player is the central part of the game, and the fact that the player deletes files and Monica interacts with the player.
Yeah. And so they basically just take that, except remove that aspect from it in every sense.
Yeah.
Because the player just can't play the game.
Yeah, the entire point of the game is to interact with the interaction between the game and the player, but now the player can't interact with the game.
Oh my god.
Defeated. Completely destroyed the point of DDLC. That's almost as bad as the mod where it's DDLC but it's a normal dating sim.
And also these oh my god. Oh my god.
Dude, the metaphysical world, man, dude. The implications of this story is incredible, man. I can't wait, man, to see what happens. Sans was very surprised. I'm surprised too, Sans. We're living through it together. And we're relieved by this. Well, not really, actually.
Wait, does that mean I'm free?
What does that mean? I'm I'm so confused. So, the world, the AU, which is dependent on another world as a game in that world, is operating on its own to the point where all the characters now have free will. Is that the justification?
Also, hold on. Let's stop this for a second and go back to chapter 1, where
Yeah.
so we established that I guess Sans is so insignificant that like him disappearing for the world is like makes no difference.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that he needs to be in his own AU to prevent other AUs from existing.
Yeah, I did specify that too.
And also keeping the balance of the world to basically exist. Because if he didn't, then it would cause like whatever dickhead to like destroy the universe, which caused him pain or whatever.
Oh my god, I think I might.
So like
Maybe that's better.
basically it just
Better?
contradicted itself. Yeah, that's better. So basically it just contradicted itself in the
Yeah, I did.
in the
I never
first
noticed that. I never
chapter.
noticed that. We should have had a contradictory. There's a contradictory aspect to the plot. Well, in the Wall of Shame, Level of Shame checklist, which we'll do later on in this video. It's gonna be great, man. But here's the thing, Gabe. And I think this story may be trying to imply this, is that him yeeting himself out of existence into DDLC, he's no longer in an Undertale AU. He's in the DDLC universe entirely.
Yeah. Well, then in that case, who
is
like
keeping the
keeps
balance?
the AUs in balance?
Nothing, man. Nothing.
Can new AUs even be created if Sans doesn't exist?
I think Sans was so stepped on, so ignored by the other AUs of himself, as stupid as that is to say, that like he just sort of did not care what the balance was and yeeted himself out of existence, which caused all the rest of the AUs to suffer. I think that's
why
what
would
happened.
the AUs would the AUs have known about this? Because why would they sorry.
It also implied...
Why would the AUs like ignore Sans if they knew he was so like important to the fucking balance of the AU universe or whatever?
We also had a joke that like the AUs were less meaningful than the original. So many questions, man. So many questions. Where's the DDLC, man? I can't wait, man. Monica, at this point, like, I don't even know what's going. It's gonna be great, man. Understandably, Sans had to take a few minutes to calm himself down from celebrating and contemplating his new situation.
I love how he went from being completely dead on the inside to being like calming himself down from celebrating, and over the course of like a day.
Well, it's kind of implying the fact that there was no repercussion for him living the same day for like so long. He was just really kind of like dead inside from that, and as soon as he got out of that, he was fine. Which is not how psychology works at all. If you're in a traumatic situation or something that genuinely harms you, that's going to have lingering effects, man. That's not how it works.
Especially when you do it almost 400,000 times. Let's recall back to that point.
Yes.
Of the same thing of presumably very traumatic situations for Sans, where his like brother dies, his entire world dies, to the point where he just becomes completely numb to everything, and then in like 2 days he's just like completely fine.
He's a human actually now. I can't even make this justification as a skeleton.
Yeah, man, he's a real human being. He's a real human skeleton.
Maybe the metaphysics, man, is that he was a skeleton and his soul was placed into a human in this world.
Okay.
Where he didn't have to deal with... And maybe Sans as a skeleton didn't have mental traumas because he doesn't have a brain in the first place and just sort of exists as a being.
Huh. I don't know.
Does skeletons have the ability to make conscious decisions without a brain?
Do you think the 14-year-old who wrote this ever made these questions?
Sans made sure that it couldn't be accessed and that the code was locked in, as that was one of his abilities. What now?
I'm sorry, what?
The
console, really?
The first thing Sans made... The console. What?
The console of the first thing Sans made sure that it couldn't be accessed and that the code was... What the fuck is that sentence?
So wait, the console of the PC game?
Yeah, I guess. Hold
Maybe
on.
Is this... What? This is clearly not made before the Switch version. But like... So
yeah,
So did he make the PC unable to be accessed by the user and the code was unable to be edited at all? So he like locked the... He froze the person on the... Dude, that is a bad time, man. If I'm like whatever...
Oh, so Sans... Sorry, I just got this... I just got what the sentence was supposed to be saying.
Right,
so I guess...
Us.
So Sans locked the console so that his like character file couldn't be deleted, because that's one of his abilities, and it was tied into his previous world's code to prevent any dirty hackers from altering the game. So he basically just prevents himself from like having to like go under the same things that every other character has to go through in this universe.
Monica deleting them. Right.
So yeah, like he can't be deleted. His character file can't be deleted, basically. Beautiful. That's what this is trying to say.
I can't wait for this story to defeat the entire purpose of DDLC entirely.
One by one.
One by one. After a bit of honest work, yeah, just having the ability to alter the code and to manipulate everyone around you, it was done. Now he was no longer... Now he was no longer had to deal with the chance of anyone altering the code, meaning the player would stay out of this world, leaving him free. Wow. Have they considered the fact... So, can the player, like, uninstall the program from his computer? Like, from Steam? At all? Because I would hate to have not only is he locked basically the ability to access the files of wait, does that mean that they can't uninstall the game because the files are locked? They can't.
Yeah, I guess they can't.
They can't. Dude, yeah. This is a malware, man. Sans is a freaking malware. That's the game theory of this man. He's taken over the computer, man.
Sans is malware.
Well, yeah, it's an invasive program. Like, you can't uninstall it.
That reminds me of that fucking the Sonic fighting game fan game. Remember that one, Sonic the Fighters or whatever, where basically he's just doing the same thing where he like can't like search up cheat codes on Google.
Yeah, detected that, which was super shady at the time, and people were like, "What? Why are you doing this in the first place?" It's like a fan game too.
Oh my god.
Oh my freaking god. Now on to the other changes that his appearance has brought to the world he was in. There is
getting to the important parts of the story.
There is apparently only 4 other major characters in this world, but that's all he could tell by reading from what he could now access. What, he couldn't read the character profile names, which are on the files that he was... Okay, whatever. Everyone else in this world seems to be background characters that you could interact with. You can? That is not how DDLC works. But will most likely be deleted if they don't have any connections with the aforementioned. Okay. I don't think there's a single dialogue in DDLC from a character that's not one of the 4 characters, or the main character, or the narrator.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think there is any. I mean, I wouldn't know because I've never played it, but you know.
So here were Sans' options. Go to school. Yeah? In which these people are B, stay home and die of old age.
Yeah, Saiyans gonna die of old age.
While being forgotten due to the fact that he had made no impact within his world. Darn. Well, Gabe, honestly, man, if I can manipulate the structure of the world, man, and my only options were to go home, to go to school or die alone at home, like, I'm doing something wrong here. If I have the ability to not only like manipulate some of the code, but look at the code as in this omnipotent being in the universe, I feel like there's much more to do with that. Just a little bit more. He chose the option A, as doing nothing was not really something he wanted to do after being able to finally do something again, but first he needs to go over a few things like his background and how much money he has. Do you think he put the do you think the author did the option things because he thought it was funny or something? Because it doesn't really impact the story in any way. It just feels like he just sort of said that to be funny somehow. And it's really not funny.
Yeah, I don't really, I don't know.
Even though there was only 4 important characters within this world, it still had a functioning society and economy. Really. Meaning he needs to survive. Meaning he needs money to survive. I don't think you use money in DLC at all. Can I also mention the fact, imagine if you live in a world, or you live in a society where there's only 4 people in that entire society that are actually important. But everyone else still has to live their lives in a meaningful way, making society function, despite the fact that the functioning society is not involved with those characters in any way.
Yeah.
Like, you barely even see them outside of school.
Well, yeah, I mean, it did literally say earlier, there was background characters they could interact, but will most likely be deleted if they don't have any connections with the 4 characters.
Yeah, dude. Like, imagine the poor person who's like, oh no, I had to stop making pencils at this pencil factory for this one high school in the middle of nowhere, and now I'm gonna cease existing. I don't know. Or like, dude, that is awful, man. The implications of that are awful, man. Do you think that people know this? Do you think that they like cease to exist from reality, like with their knowledge, knowing that it's because that they're not interacting with these 4 characters? That they know that would their families forget they exist because they're not interacting with these 4 characters long enough? That is really sad and depressing, man. Dude, I would get really desperate, man. If my entire existence and everyone I ever love's existence depends on being somewhat important to 4 people in the world, man, that is scary as heck. Why is this author spending so much time setting up the metaphysics of this world, making it super, super, like, what? And kind of scary. And kind of, like, I don't even know what to say, man. Like, he's clearly putting a lot of effort establishing the lore of this universe.
Yeah.
And in doing so... Worst case scenario, I would have to live a few years, the streets, which isn't that bad? Really? Once you've gone through
it once before, right?
Oh, you...
Yeah, I guess it isn't that bad.
You have to say that line, man. Do it.
Oh, what? The worst case scenario? Worst case scenario, I'd have to live a few years, the streets. Which isn't that bad once you've gone through it once before, right?
Not only is that sentence extremely disfigured, I feel it's just wrong.
It's blatantly wrong.
Dude, I'm imagining this checklist that I'm gonna put it for the review at the very end of this video, man. We got stuff, man. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. There's gonna be a lot on the fucking checklist. So that's all I can say reading this so far.
Story, man. He went through what was now defined as his house. Or at least...
Yeah.
That's what he found out by reading the code. Stop it, dude. Stop it with this reading the code thing, man. You know, there's looking across the street both ways for a car. Then there's Sans here who looks at the code instead of using his eyes going like, guess it's fine.
I like how the sentence continues though.
And found that there was blue fluffy jacket placed in the closet in the room he'd just woken up in.
Although he finds that out through looking at the code instead of just looking in the fucking closet.
Being a real human being.
Yeah, he's a real human being who's just
I don't know what to say about this dude. This code is clearly so convenient for him that like he ceases to use his eyes, which clearly don't work because they're very disfigured or something's going on with them. I forgot. Whatever. Let's continue, man. Your line, man.
Hold on a sec.
It was his jacket he always wore in the underground, which meant that if he checked the pockets of it, he would find.
Welp, looks like I'm staying rich.
What? So let me get the premise of this chapter right. Sans realizes he needs money. He finds money in his pocket.
Yeah, man. I mean, the story is already set up that this person has no desire to write any conflict in their story whatsoever.
Dude, imagine that being a character arc for an actual show where they're so poor and so desperate just to realize that they had money all along.
Yeah, man.
Not even like in an inconvenient way, like it was like a dying relative or something. No, just in his pocket.
It's in his pocket, the whole thing.
Oh my god, dude. This is hard to handle, man. Sen said with his eternal grin on his face.
Even while he was dead on the inside, he had an eternal grin on his face.
Dude, we already established he's no longer depressed, man. He's reincarnated into a happy person that's rich, that has the ability to alternate the world, man, and be omnipotent, man. Read the room. It's obvious, man. I mean, clearly that's how stories like this go, man.
Yeah, of course.
Let's just say having multiple jobs does pay well. What? Oh, I guess he had a lot of jobs in Undertale.
Yeah.
And he
ran that one stand.
Let me get this straight. There's no bank in Undertale. He kept all of his money that he had in his pocket.
In his pocket, and it somehow transferred over like through the universe, but not on his physical self, but like in his pocket, which I guess he wasn't wearing his jacket before this point. So I guess while he was like phasing from one universe to the other, I guess his jacket just got taken off, but like got put in a closet.
He was put in a new body, obviously, where he didn't have his jacket on, man.
Oh, but the jacket was kept around.
Yeah, man. Obviously.
Exactly in the same state as it was when he was in the Undertale world, I guess.
That is extremely confusing now that I think about this. There's so many things wrong with this story, man. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, we clearly have, but like...
The story is awful when he put like 5 seconds of thought into any of the sentences.
Let's just say having multiple jobs does pay. It kind of sounds like the author's trying to be clever when he's saying
yeah.
Especially if you have a lot of them. Now that problem has been settled, all he had to do was go to school. he has supposedly just transferred and started over.
Start over, huh? Yeah, maybe hopefully I can live a relatively normal life.
As someone who can be an omnipotent being.
Yeah.
Here's something I really hate, man, and this is the generic anime trope, man, of the
Yeah.
guy going like, I want to live an average, ordinary life. Meanwhile, he has like super god powers, and most of the time, the entire point of the story or punchline is other characters going, "You're powerful. You can't have a normal life." Who in the other than people that have, there's obviously a lot of unfortunate people, and my condolences for them, obviously, but like, having a relatively normal life is not what people want. People want a good life. People want a life where they feel happy, where they're like able to live their life and like, do things that they want to do. Not just like this boring office job life, quote unquote normal. Like, people want a life that keeps them invested.
Oh yeah, man.
Sans
and that's what going to an anime high school will do for Sans.
Yeah, man.
Undertale.
Sans thought through his confidence was not that high, which was understandable. He was sad.
What? Wait, that doesn't make any fucking sense at all. His confidence wasn't high in what regard?
Well, he was depressed, man. We established that in the first chapter.
Yeah, of course, he was depressed. His confidence wasn't high, even though he's able to look at the code of the entire world that he's in, and has a ton of money, I guess.
So here's what we established in this story, man, step by step. Sans is sad. Sans can yeet himself out of existence. And no one cares the fact that he's really important in the previous universe.
Yeah.
We established that he could alter the code somehow because he had friends that can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He has to deal with money when he's an alone high school student because his parents aren't paying for him at all. Is he in a private high school? Do we have to pay for high school? No, it's rent.
No, it's just for
rent and food.
For rent, I guess. Why does this even matter in a world where only 4 characters are important? Does the person who collects rent on Tax's house, who collects taxes on Sans' house have anything to do with the major 4 characters?
He probably taxes the other 4 characters' houses too. His sole existence is to tax people and the 4th character. His sole existence is just to tax the 4 main characters. I just realized something, Gabe.
Mm-hmm.
Why does Sans exist?
Well, I don't know.
If we've already set, is it yet to exist like a Destiny thing? Like, yet to be important to the main 4?
Well, man, it said earlier that him coming into this world had caused it to change, so maybe that's a part of the...
So there's a destiny involved.
Yeah, man. He has a destiny.
So the metaphysics of the world work, where you only exist if you're important to the 4 characters, or you're about to be important to the 4 characters according to your destiny.
Yeah.
The quote-unquote plot.
Which means everything's pre-scripted, which doesn't really solve Sans' problem in the first place.
Yeah, where he said, I'm free.
Yeah, he's not really free if he can't exist if he isn't important in some way to the main 4 characters. That is not really what freedom is, if you're forced to be in a specific situation in order to exist, in order to justify your existence.
Oh, that doesn't stop him dating them, dude. That's his freedom right there.
Course.
All of them,
yeah, that's his freedom. Yeah, his freedom to start a harem.
Gabe, your line.
Oh, right. School starts tomorrow, huh? Day 1 to day 1. Interesting.
What?
Well, time to sleep until then.
What?
No need to be waiting the entire time.
What? I thought he just he went. So let me get this straight. The day was he woke up, went to the washroom, destroyed the place, went back to sleep on the couch, woke up from his quote unquote nap, looked at the reality of the code, realized he needed money, had the money, went back to sleep.
Yeah. It's a really essential day.
Yeah, he probably spent an hour the day. Less than
well,
an hour.
remember, his magic was better because he wasn't feeling tired, despite the fact that he'd slept like 90% of the day.
That's not tired for Sans, man. It's usually 24/7 that he's sleeping. Which is, by the way,
crazy.
not dead. With that, Sans promptly falls onto the bed, which he... Oh, yeah, he went to the closet. He woke up... He woke up in when he first got to this world. That's a weird way to say he woke up in his bed. Which... And drifts off? So he went back to sleep?
Well, he went back to the bed that he woke up in, and then falls asleep.
Oh my god.
I
read that he promptly falls in his bed, and then he says he woke up in what he... Sorry.
The no punctuation made that really confusing.
Here's a question I have. Why is there a quotation mark after? Was he saying that full thing?
I don't know. They do this... I don't know. It's like not the first time they made that mistake, but...
Author's note. I feel the author should really have a voice in this story. You expected chapter 1, but it was me! Prologue part 3! But, yeah, chapter 1 would be the next one, hopefully. But also the story will be updated whenever I am bored and can't find fan fiction to read. Meaning, don't expect me to be consistent, as sometimes I lose motivation. Or just completely forgets about, so yeah. Have a good time, have a good to whoever reading, and I apologize for this very subpar part.
Okay. So...
Have a good
I wanted to mention this.
Yeah.
I want to mention this now that we finished the prologue. The fact that the prologue is 3 chapters.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 chapters of actual story, and then it gets canceled, which means that as of this story, there's more prologue than actual story.
Yes. All right, Gabe. Chapter.
Well, it's time to go to chapter 4, which is called Chapter 1: Leave Thoughts and Suggestions.
Us? The readers?
Oh, okay. I guess it starts with Sans talking. So.
Is the chapter literally just named for us? Okay.
Yeah, of course.
It's not the name of a chapter, dude.
Nothing to do. All right. Yeah, I decided to, go outside the house to look for this school I'm supposed to be attending, and it turns out it's like just across the street. It's like something you'd write in like a Manky Mice chapter.
He can look at the code, but he can't tell where his school is. There's no computer, there's no internet in his house. How does he even know that's the school he's going to? Also, did he literally transfer? Was his previous school that he transferred from not really far away? Like, why wouldn't he just go to the school really close to him in the first place?
I really don't know. Does that have anything to do with the original DDLC? Does that have something to do with the transfer, like transferring from another school?
No, actually, no.
No? Okay.
No, he just sort of was in the school.
Okay, because I've read the only exposure to Doki Doki Literature Club is through fan fictions.
Yeah.
So there's quite a few DDLC fan fictions where it's like, oh, I transferred from another school. So I thought it might have something to do with the original plot, but apparently not.
So, no. It sort of starts with the main character trying to find a club. That's basically.
Oh, right, yeah. Good
Sans began talked. Really? Sans began talked. very casual steps. What? Towards the school, as technically it wasn't open yet, as he'd gotten up early. Yeah, it's probably because he was like a person who slept through the entire day and had to wake up at like 4 a.m. and just went to school then.
Yeah.
Surprising mostly himself. Darn, man. He was surprised the school wasn't open early.
This reminds me of that episode of SpongeBob where it's just like, oh, I can't, why can't I go into the classroom? Oh, well, it doesn't start in 2 more hours. Right after like going through like I don't know.
During his walk towards the building, he thought about how this school had pretty generic and strange rules. Those are contradicting statements. Are they generic or strange? You can't say that, dude. There was bullying and respecting your teachers. You bully and respect your teachers? Is that what they're saying there? Dude, without punctuation, man. That's what I'm interpreting from this. You bully and respect your teachers as a rule. But what was unique about this school was little detail that stated that clubs would gather at the end of the day and could carry on however long the president and group members agreed upon. What, so the president could lock their group? Wait, so the president and the group, if the president and the group agrees to skip the entire school semester to be in their club, that's allowed. Why?
That's a terrible rule.
That's a terrible... What's the gain? What's the gain? Dude, here is a problem, man. There's a significant problem with it, which is I'm pretty sure schools are probably liable for the groups, aren't they? The clubs? They probably even have teachers'
they probably would be.
So, like, you're extending it for that long period of time for them to be continuously, like... I'm not even going to the legal thing of it. I'm sure it's fine. Who cares? This leads to a very simple question. Could he have the club last for the entire school week? Making have an excuse to not go to class. I'm glad he at least said what I was saying. Now, don't get him wrong. He enjoyed learning. Really. I did not get that from Sans whatsoever, actually. Maybe? No, not really. Especially the scientific aspect of it. Is Sans a scientific character?
Yeah, Sans is into like science, or at least it's like
it's kind of. I guess it is it canon that he was once one of the royal scientists, or is that a fan theory?
I actually don't know. It's been a very long time since I've like looked into Undertale lore.
Right.
I thought he had something to do. Like I thought he had something to do with Gaster, who was like an actual scientist or something.
But he didn't feel like he wanted to have to sit through hours of something he already knows. Darn, that's some pretty arrogant way to look at school, man. I mean, he is a very old man at this point with his age to go to high school, which makes this high school aspect kind of creepy in a way. Okay. The idea, though, got shut down rather quickly as he realized that for the plan to work, all the club members would have to agree to spend their entire school year now, going through club activities. The problem with this is two things. One, Sans preferred if he could have some alone time to himself, and two is because he didn't think he could convince everyone in the club to basically slab off with him for the better part of a year. Okay. His thoughts, now that I think about it, that is kind of evil, because here's what I'm thinking, man, because there's probably a teacher in these clubs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if everyone in the club and the president could agree, they could keep the teacher away from their families for the entire day, essentially.
Yeah, that would be pretty,
Dude, that's what they're talking
Problematic.
about. It goes back to the point. Bullying and respecting your teachers.
Of course, man.
Dude, I understand the rules now, man. It was interlined as the same rule. Dude. His thoughts were interrupted, however, when he heard a long, soft chime of the school bell. Sans made his way in and just wondered until he found a random teacher in the hall, for which he asked for directions to the principal's office, as he was just transferred here. With a bit of explaining, giving off directions from the teacher, Sans made his way into the office of the principal, which was located mostly on the other side of the school.
Mostly on the other side of the school.
There's a bit of like some scattered about, a little bit in the janitor's office, a little bit in the teacher's lounge.
Hey, why peg yourself into one location when you can,
That's true, man. Dude, you can just like corner some of the student lounge to be the principal's office, so the principal gets his own space. Dude is brilliant, man. He walked in, talked with the guy, then got his schedule and read to what would be the classes he was going to in the following order. Algebra 2, Lit and Comp? What does that mean?
Literature and composition, maybe?
Oh, yeah? Chemistry and
I don't know.
world history. Darn, dude.
Damn, chemistry and world history in the same class? It's pretty crowded.
It's a very biased world history course.
It's...
Alright, class. World history starts in 1890s, where Thomson invented the first model of the atom. Or 1880s. Whatever.
Yeah, nothing existed before then.
Man, I haven't taken... I love how chemistry in high school... Chemistry in high school is literally history of chemistry, too. That's the funny part about that, too. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like, they don't explain you chemistry, they explain you what the wrong things have already been disproven in chemistry. They teach you the history of it.
Nice.
Did you do chemistry?
No, I never did chemistry.
Oh. Also, I'm pretty sure in an actual school, though, true to real life, you wouldn't talk to the principal with this. There probably should be a secretary if you're lost. And
they usually give you a schedule on your first day of school, like in like the principal's office, but you don't speak to the principal himself.
No, that's what I was thinking. Must be a small school, man. Actually, even then, dude. Too bad that wouldn't really matter, as he was planning to just sleep through all of them. Darn the arrogance, man. So let me get it straight.
Damn.
Sans was put into existence in this world, and his sole purpose in life... Dude. Yeah, his sole purpose in life. Because... No, wait.
Well, let's read... I'm going to read an excerpt from Chapter 3.
Yeah, go on.
So here were Sans' options. A, go to school... or stay alone and die of old age while being forgotten due to the fact... Okay, whatever. He chose option A as doing nothing was not really something he wanted to do after finally being able to do something again. And then he just goes to school and falls asleep through the entire class.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. About an hour and 35 minutes later... That's how long the class was?
That's about the length of 2 classes, actually, if I recall correctly.
Sans woke up from the map he took in algebra and began heading to the second class, which probably was already started, if not close to finishing, to be honest. Honestly, not even written from the thing. That's just an hour and 35 minutes. Come on. In which he also takes a nap in, but not before noticing a girl with purple hair reading a weird book that had a strange-looking eye on it.
Damn, I wonder if that's a main character or not.
Gabe?
Yeah.
Oh, you were gonna read the...
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Oh, huh, neat.
he says to the person reading a book in school.
Yeah, that is neat. Somebody would be holding a book in school.
Yeah, man. Dude, there's actually plenty of books with strange looking eye on it, man. Dude, I read a book. I read books in school and it with strange looking eye on it, man. The Crystal Lacey series with like the dragons. Those were books that literally just had the cover with a strange looking eye on it, man. This is not.
Well, maybe that's what she was reading.
Oh my god, confirmed. So Sans Day, holy smokes, dude, they're celebrating him already. So
he's the most important character.
So Sans Day proceeded roughly the same throughout the other two classes, and school had just ended with him not saying a single word to anyone, but the teacher he talked to for directions. So it's a teacher now that he talked for. No, okay. Sans being the class number 1 sleeper that he is slept. A little longer into world history class, leaving him there when everyone had already went home. What? I'm so confused.
What's the matter?
Sans being the class number 1 student that he has slept. A little while longer into his history class, leaving him there when everyone had already left. Dude,
they misplaced the comma. They misplaced the comma in the sentence.
Yes. That is a huge example of where commas can really distort the sentence.
Yeah.
He was, however, woken up by someone a few minutes later after everyone had left. That's so nice of them, man. Even he slept through the bell. Everyone just sort of left him there.
No one tried to wake him up. They're just like, whatever.
Well, when your entire life depends on 4 other people that are not him, other people's lives seem pretty insignificant.
That's true.
Hello, the girl began to going off a bit awkward. This is really funny. To her starting off the conversation with no way of continuing it. Oh, I should do that. Hello, no, just like a... Hello, no, what should it... Hello,
Great.
I don't know, man.
You just gotta give all the like girl characters the same voice.
Hello. No.
Hello.
You can just do the voices, man. This entire thing.
Yeah, sure.
Sans
hello. Sans. Hello, Sans. It's nice to meet you. My name's Sayori, and I happened to notice that we are still left in the classroom after it rang and everyone leaving.
That is very observant, man. That is very observant for you to notice with your eyes that you are in a classroom with no other person in it except for them.
It did. Must not have heard it then. Well, it's nice of you to wake me up, but what are you still doing here? Well,
She's seemingly trying to come up with an explanation as Sans observes.
So, I was just going to my club, and I kind of was also looking for more people to join, as our club president said that it'd be great if we recruited another member. That sounds interesting. Well, good luck with that. Sans does not give a fuck.
Dude, that's like one of my favorite lines from like, you know the All-Star song? Of course you do, man.
Yeah, of course. I said, like, yep. What a concept.
Yeah, it's where some person's at a gas job asking if he has a little change.
Yeah.
Says,
I said, yeah, what a concept. We could all use a little change.
Yeah, it's just such a trolling line. It's so stupid. That is, dude, I always laugh or smile when I see that. It's just so funny, man. Yep, what a oh my god. Oh, it's so funny, man. Anyway, Sen says as he almost goes straight back to sleep where he is sat.
No, wait. I just wanted to ask if you wanted to join or not.
Sayori quickly blurted out before Sans could make it to the land of dreams.
Damn, he's gonna go to another world? Fuck. Can I ask you a question? Say. Sure.
Really? Say.
Say. Sure. Why'd you ask me? Well, you see, the thing is that mostly everyone joins a club when they first come here. So mostly everyone had already joined, and since you were new, I thought maybe you would.
Sayori said, bit nervous, as her true intent has been revealed.
So you wanted to try your luck. Can I ask what type of club it is?
Sans asked, a bit interested.
Oh, of course. How could I ask you to join a club if you don't know what it is? Well, to answer your question, it is the Literature Club. That sound familiar.
Oh my god, why is it so funny? That sound familiar. Oh my god. I also love the fact that he also read, like, yesterday or something that, like, the world was called the Literature Club or something like that.
Yeah. It's so stupid.
So stupid. Sans thought with a shrug.
Sure, why not? I got nothing better to do. Wait, really?
Sayori said in disbelief. Really? He was sleeping, you know.
Yeah.
But quickly turned joyful as she began jumping up and down.
I love how that's like the only way of like expressing any sort of excitement is that they just jump up and down.
Sans chuckle at that. I don't think I recall anyone being so happy they literally jump up and down in a social setting. Well,
yeah,
maybe actually. Well, I don't know. Sans chuckle at the display, reminding him of. Oh yes! Oh, I didn't read this in its full thing. Sans chuckled at the display, reminding him, of Papyrus a little.
I miss you, bro.
In context, I did hear about this line, especially before.
God.
And the reason why this is so funny in context is because he had killed his brother 300,000 times. Only for him to say, I miss you, bro.
I miss you, bro.
And the reason why he didn't stop killing his brother is because his friend might be hurt. He didn't kill his brother. He did kill his brother. No, the reason why he didn't not kill his brother, sorry for the double negative, is because he didn't want to inconvenience his friend. And he somehow genuinely misses him like this in a sincere way.
Miss you, bro.
Oh my god, dude. There's so much wrong with that. That is so funny and dumb, dude.
Oh. Right, I guess I gotta... Come, I need to introduce you to the club.
Sayori began as she began to walk out of the classroom with Sans trailing behind in his jacket and nothing else. What? Just naked in his jacket?
He's a naked man
know,
sleeping in class all day.
Oh my god! This is in his jacket, completely naked, sleeping all day, not talking to anyone. No one questioned it. The principal thinks it's fine. I mean, he was talking with him a little bit. This very young child, to his perspective, is a very, very, very old person in spirit.
That's fucking creepy. He's just like following around it like a fucking like 15-year-old girl while naked. Ugh.
There's so many layers to this, man.
So
many layers, man. And nothing else, as he didn't really have anything on him per se. Sayuri, of course, you just completely ignore that, by the way. Sayuri, of course, continued to lead to the literature club before stopping in front of what is presumed as the literature the club room.
Kind of redundant.
Yeah, that's a bit weird. Sayuri began by basically barging into the room, announcing her presence by also saying,
"Girls, I found us a new member. Guess it's gonna be interesting for a while."
Sans thought as he held his grin. Maybe I should do some of the girl voices, man.
Yeah, man, we can split it 50-50.
Oh
God.
Alright.
Well,
Chapter 2.
Story.
Should I actually put titles? Yes!
Dude.
Alright. Seriously? You brought a boy? Way to ruin the atmosphere. Said a pink-haired girl, mostly in the back next to the closet. When Sans had caught notice of, however, told a different story on her attitude with her shocked expression. I feel like I'm speaking a different language sometimes with this story. When Sayuri burst through the door, which I thought she already did in the previous chapter, by the way. And her continued shock after what said girl announced after her very abrupt entrance. It seemed as though it was an act to cover up her shock. This is the purple-haired girl. Oh, did you give them the same voice?
Should I give them the same voice? Fuck it.
No, you do.
Please don't mind her. What?
Please do a different voice for the purple-haired girl, even though it's gonna be brief. Yeah.
Okay.
She's the really elegant one.
Please don't mind her. That's how she usually is.
Said the girl with purple hair. That'd be great if she was condescending, actually. Who had presumably been reading a book before they came in, as there was one in her hand who was a lot taller than the previous girl, as Sans noted, though he could relate as he was about as tall as the girl with pink hair.
Okay. I just like how it just completely segues to a completely different subject without adding any punctuation.
Yeah, it would transition the sentence metamorphosed in the middle of its own. I don't know what to say. Now, if you're wondering how tall he was compared to his skeleton self, then worry no more, as he was about 2 inches taller than before, which isn't saying much. By the way, guys,
finally,
I don't know if
real
you know
answers.
This, but do we even know how tall he is? In his skeleton self, in general.
It's canon Sans height charts. Yeah.
All right, go, man.
Oh right. Nah, it's cool.
Sans replied, unfazed. But most of what's going on with all that he has been through, this really doesn't bother him in the slightest. Alright, we're gonna get Monica.
Alright, do you want to do Monica? You should do Monica.
Oh, welcome! Nope. Welcome to our club! Is that good?
Yeah, do the fucking whiny voice for Monica, I guess.
Oh, I should do the alien whiny voice. Welcome to our club. I'm Monica. The one near the closet is Natsuki, and the bookish one is Yuri.
Which reminds me of the cover of the DDOC song that you did. Remember that one?
No, let's forget about that one.
He did it in the same voice now.
And now it's the now named Monica, who was about as tall as the girl now named not Yuri. What, were they just in this reality? It was so new, these four most important characters in this entire universe for which all of existence stems did not have names at this point.
Well, that's why I couldn't read their names beforehand in the previous chapter.
Are you kidding me? Dude, if that's actually the canon of this story's meta verse, I'm gonna be write so many angry emails.
Is this one specific person?
Alright, Gabe.
Alright. It's nice to meet you, too. The name's Sans.
Sans said as he raised his hand to perform his greeting. It's nice to meet you. Sound came from the handshake between Sans and Monica.
The old... Sorry. I just read this. Sorry. Fuck, I can do this.
Go on.
The old Wappy cousin. The old Wappy.
Oh my god!
Oh god, I can't. The old fucking hell. Oh, the old Wappy cousin in the hand trick. It's always funny.
Oh my god!
I thought it just said a Wappy cushion. I didn't realize it said a Wappy cousin.
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
The visual image of the Wappy cousin is so funny.
Oh my
also,
god.
I didn't realize the sound effect I gave was not what they were going for whatsoever.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the sound of the Wappy cousin, man.
Yeah, the Wappy cousin.
It's always funny, Gabe.
It is always funny.
Said grinning a little wider. No one laughed. I wish it just ended there. At first. But that's all stopped when Sayori burst out laughing, followed by the other club members.
That's better.
What, did he like manipulate reality for all to laugh or something? Like that's what it sounds like. I can't, dude. The concept of Sans manipulating reality so people laugh at his incredibly stupid jokes that are super unfunny. Like Sans had puns before that were like lame jokes, but these are just incredibly unfunny jokes. You know, that's one thing we're not getting from Sans' character. Where are the puns, dude?
Yeah, man.
That's a good one. Never thought I'd be pranked like this, Monica said, still trying to stop the chuckle that escaped her. Yeah, that's what I was going for. You're a pretty funny guy, huh, Sans? Natsuki said before giving herself a double take by saying, I'll try this. That doesn't mean I found it funny or anything, Baka. I should say that. That doesn't mean I found it funny or anything. Baka. I don't know how to say that. I just genuinely don't know how to say that. Sans chuckled at that one, but continued to interact with the club members until Sayori asked,
"So, Sans, do you want to join our club?"
with expectant and anxious eyes. So did everyone else, as they looked towards him for his reply.
Sure. Well, like I told Say earlier, I ain't got anything better to do, so why not?
Sans told the girls casually, causing them to let out a sigh of relief. They didn't know they were holding in. And Sayori announcing that they should celebrate.
Hey, Natsuki, didn't you make cupcakes today?
Sayori asked, most likely continuing on with the celebrating idea.
Great.
Yeah, but I only made 4. Natsuki replied, showing them the cupcake. She proceeded to take out from the closet. Closet cupcakes. Huh?
Yeah, man.
Alright.
You 4 should eat it.
Sans replied, quickly, trying to solve the problem as fast as possible.
No, this celebration is meant for you joining our club, so you should get a cupcake.
Do they always make cupcakes for each day just in case people join? Are they really old cupcakes?
This is a celebration cupcakes.
Dude, I almost feel like cupcakes for now, man. Alright, this is Sans. Oh,
right.
Butted.
It's fine to say. They were clearly made with for the 4 of you. Oh, sorry. It's fine, say. They were clearly made for the 4 of you. It's not a big deal.
Clearly you didn't think your English class was a big deal either.
Well, he already knew all that stuff before. Why would he have to stay?
Oh, that's right. The author already knew this stuff. He was probably sleeping through class. Sans said, further trying to end this dilemma.
Then you can have my cupcake,
Sayori said. And before Sans could even say anything. Oh, great. Alright, let's go.
No! As club president, you should take my president. You should take my president, as it is my responsibility.
What? So it's her responsibility for someone else to take her presidency? Is that what I'm getting? Cool.
Yeah, of course.
Monica joined in, and from what Sans could tell, the situation was getting a bit tricky from here. Is this really the plot? Is this really the freaking plot of this story? This is what it amounts to? Everything you've read, the 2 hours and 2 minutes of this entire video led to this plot where they are
4,000, where they're just fighting over cupcakes just completely pointlessly. Alright. I guess it's my turn. Where was I?
Very condescending, elegant.
You can have mine if you want.
Perfect. Yuri offered as well, causing it to be even more tricky. Really? This is tricky? Can't Sans just eat all the cupcakes and run away, and the story just abruptly end? Or something?
And he just uses, epic magic skills, and then he sort of fucking...
I
just love how all, that... Sorry, I just want to continue on what you were saying before. The fact that they had all this metaphysical elements where it's he disintegrates from the universe and has code powers and can use magic, and it just amounts to a story where they bicker over cupcakes.
Yeah, this is it. This is the end. This is what the story amounts to. I mean, the story even got canceled. This is the story, dude.
This is so sad.
So who, after 7 years in development?
After 7 years of development, I hope this story will be worth the wait.
So whose cupcake are you gonna pick, Sans? Oh my god.
So, whose cupcake are you gonna pick, Sans?
It is impossible to do expressions in that voice. Let's try this again.
So, whose cupcake are you gonna pick, Sans?
How was that, Gabe? That took a lot from me. Monica said, probably enjoying the situation as it was a bit amusing looking at it from an outside perspective. Let me chime in from here. From an outside perspective, looking in from this story, this is not an amusing look.
Not entertaining. Nah, it's fine. You girls should eat your cupcakes yourself. I can always have some later.
As far as I'm concerned, Sand did not eat anything whatsoever in this story. He went to sleep and immediately woke up. That's what I'm getting. Sand said with his glance, wandering over to Natsuki for a second to see how she's taking the situation. This in turn caused the other three to also turn to see what Natsuki is doing, to find her in the closet bringing something out. It was a tray that the cupcakes had been brought out of, with some snacks in a few of the areas within the tray. Here, you can pick one from here if you don't want to take a cupcake from us. Wait, are you freaking kidding me? Not only is this plot mounted into this, but there wasn't a conflict in the first place. This story is giving me so much pain, man. From the sheer amount we've taken. I always feel like this video should be edited, but at the same time, man, I'm too late. I'm just gonna post this 3-hour video onto YouTube, and people are gonna
we can make it a.
Yeah.
It'll just be like a podcast.
Yeah, I kind of feel this is a podcast. Dude, that's why I was kind of going to the streaming thing. It'd just automatically be on YouTube, which is the best part. No upload time.
Yeah.
And no excuse for not editing either. Yeah, dude, let's just stream this on YouTube, man. That's just from now on.
Sounds like a fun idea.
Sans being the guy that he is, puts the pieces together with how the tray has a lot more than 4 areas in which cupcakes could be made in. Yeah. Using your hyper brain intelligence, realizing that there's more than 4 areas, you can count more than 4.
Well, dude, he did sleep through math.
So. He did sleep through math, so it was a little bit more tricky, but he still was the guy to do this. With the crumbles both in those areas within the tray and on the cheek of said lady, it was quite easy to conclude that she'd eaten the rest of the cupcakes.
Thanks, Nats. It's really sweet of you to do this. Sorry, it's really sweet of you for doing this.
I think the emphasis on the sweet was part of the pun.
Yeah.
Sans punned. See? Leaving the culprit be as he really didn't mind. What? Leaving the culprit be as he really didn't mind. Oh, I see.
She probably has a sweet tooth or something. Something to keep in mind, I guess, as that's a lot of cupcakes to eat by yourself.
Can I also point out the fact that this is not something he thought? He spoke this out loud in front of her.
Yeah, man. There was a moment of silence.
There was a moment of silence after
that observation.
After Butt was broken down, a few chuckles and a grin coming from the sweets keeper, as Sans now dubs her.
Come on, let's start a celebration with our Natsuki brand sweets.
Oh my god. Who freaking cares? Who cares? Who cares? Sayori said a tiny bit after, Yeah!
Yeah!
The rest of the club said was Sans being on the quieter side, as that's how he naturally is.
Really? He's just naturally a lot quieter than the others. This person who speaks to himself constantly. Whatever.
And speaks his clear thoughts about someone in front of them.
It's quite nice here, huh? I think I'll stay a while.
Didn't update this for a while, as I only wrote when I'm bored and when it is 11 in the night. So as I said in the earlier installment, don't expect consistency on it. Is that I will continue this after I finish it or cancel it, so you won't be left hanging for that long, probably.
I do like how they say I didn't update for a while, despite the fact this entire story was written over the course of like 10 days.
Yeah. You're right.
Well, man, unfortunately, we have to end this fan fiction on a really sad note because Chapter 6 is called Cancelled.
Well, what a freaking story, man. Oh, you know what it is, man? You know what time it is? From all
Oh,
that
is it time to rank
2
it?
hours and 10 minutes, starting now, we have wasted on this fan fiction, and I think it's about time we calculate the loss we have felt. Wall of Shame, also known as Level of Shame. This is the quiz in which we rate how bad this fan fiction, or in other words, how great this fan fiction really was, man. We'll score, and we'll rate them.
Hell yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, title and description are completely contradictory. Well...
that is not true, I don't think.
What is the description?
A change has occurred that has caused Sans to be transported to the world of Doki Doki Literature Club. How will he interact with the characters within? You find out by reading, of course.
Great. All right. Word count is much longer than the premise title suggests.
Actually, it's pretty short, considering
it's good.
6 chapters and
And no redirects. We're good. All right. Spelling quirks. Spelling unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Yeah, it is actually. It gets pretty unreadable at some points. Like, it's really confusing. Also, Whoppy Cousin.
Whoppy Cousin is absolutely freaking
cousin.
Hilarious, man. And I mean unacceptable in the terms where there's spelling mistakes here and there, but it's like mostly unnotable. Unacceptable is mostly just like, even to the point where it's funny. And this is clearly something that's not troll either. Like, it doesn't.
Yeah, obviously, and there's like it's just the punctuation as well. It's really bad as well. So it's like you can't understand sentences because the punctuation is just non-existent.
I'm gonna say, is it minor or major for you? Major formatting issues.
Formatting issues?
Because it does have some problems. It does. Each paragraph is a sentence. No punctuation's completely misused. They do not capitalize sans. It's not bad.
It's not terrible.
It's not terrible. The single quotation marks are a bit strange in lowercase.
Right, there's some stuff like that.
I've seen minor formatting issues.
Yeah, there's no major formatting.
Author's notes are really not noteworthy. No point of view changes. There's a lot of redundancies, actually.
There is a lot of redundancy.
Attempted humor.
I'd say so.
So the notable things I'd say is option A, B. That's just kind of a joke sentence because clearly it's not meant to be taken seriously. The whoopee cushion one is so terrible to the point where like them laughing and him saying that's better is more of the joke because it sounds like they're manipulating people to laugh to his terrible jokes.
There is also that terrible pun.
Which, the sweet thing?
Yeah, it's really sweet of you for doing this.
But the thing is, would you say it's a notable attempted humor? As in, like, there's a lot of instances where he does this. Is a major feature of the story. Or at least, like...
Honestly, I wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't say
I wouldn't say that it's a major point.
I wouldn't even say it's pretentious writing.
You wouldn't say that?
I would not. He does not.
Yeah, okay,
it's not that he thinks highly of himself. The lore dump in the beginning was leaning on to pretentious, but it doesn't take itself super seriously, even if it was, what we discussed before. It's mostly hitchhiking based off of Undertale AU multiverse.
Yeah.
All right, concept stuff. Right.
Author blatantly retcons characters / source to satisfy their interest. What do you say, man? What do you say to that?
I mean, sans is whatever he feels them to be, honestly.
Yeah.
I can't say... What would his I'm very divided on this. What is your thought on this?
To satisfy their interest? I feel like it's more so to just, like... I don't even know, like...
Well, we
what
have
Sans'
we have a character franchise derail, if that counts.
Oh yeah, we can obviously add characters like franchise derail. That one's obvious.
Here's my thing. It derails from itself, if that makes any sense as well. Because not only
Yes.
we have a character that's literally murdered everything he's ever loved for like years, decades, dude. Freaking decades, man. Every single week or days or like 3 hours or whatever, murdering his entire friends and family. And being so
Yeah.
depressed that he eats himself out of existence. Meanwhile, he's like the most ordinary, whatever, generic protagonist ever in anime land.
Mm-hmm.
Completely derails.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Premise of the story is absolutely flawed and awful.
Oh my fucking god.
The premise of the
Yes.
story, man, that was their entire thing. Hijacks franchises, yes. Sans is freaking
Yes.
news, and everything else is abandoned. And like it's not even Sans from the Undertale. He freaking hijacks the AU fandom.
Yeah,
of
yeah. Like
Undertale.
it just sounds like they made like a bunch of shit up for the AU like lore as well.
Notably, no conflict or point.
Yes. Fucking, that's like this entire story just lacks
entire
any
story.
conflict.
Yep. Forced or stupid conflict.
I mean, if you count the cupcake thing, I don't know.
that does
Is that
feel,
really?
that does feel forced, but I wouldn't. No, I'm not giving it.
Not giving it? It's fine.
Poor motivations and explanations, yes.
Yeah, yes.
Out of place or stupid author interaction.
No.
I mean, if you count the time he literally used a chapter title, it'll say comment on my fan fiction. But, like, no, not really. Many uses of stupid powers that are stupid OP powers, yes. He just suddenly has the ability to use programming powers for some reason. Gamer statistics,
Yeah.
No terrible implications. You know what? I'm going to say it, man. Terrible implications. It may not be creepy, but there's so many consequences that the author may have missed. Like, holy
Yeah.
smokes,
Oh,
dude.
well, the fucking him sleeping naked in class. The whole, like, him wearing his coat and not much else. Isn't that just fucking weird?
It is weird, man. Putting on. All right.
You put in the many uses of OP/stupid powers, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Self-insert, no. OCs, no. Major character death. No.
That's a hard one.
No.
No,
It's
not
not a
in terms
story
of like
thing.
a permanent, not in terms of like a permanent
Mary, Gary,
removal.
Sue. Sans is ultimately superior over others, loved by all
Yes,
characters.
Yep.
But it even I think Mary Sue also extends to when he's like initially like that's as part of his deep dark backstory, which turns him. Yeah, no, I think Mary Sue is acceptable here.
Yeah. Sans is a big Mary Sue in this story.
Character can be foreign to a franchise and replaces other key characters. No, but still. Major fetishes, incest. No, we're not gonna have any not safe
Underage
for work
stuff.
content here. No. Humanizing
Disgusting.
characters.
Oh yeah, we can add humanizing characters.
Um.
Character. Okay, no self-harm.
Characters ignore and
No.
encourage something blatantly wrong, stupid, or taboo. Now let me present to you Sans being naked the entire story.
I just love how it like throws it in there as like a throwaway
It's a
line.
throwaway line.
It just like doesn't even address it at all. But it's like halfway through the fucking story too. It's like
Yeah,
it just completely recontextualizes everything that's happened so far.
it's brilliant,
Ugh.
man. It's freaking
So
brilliant.
awful.
Alright, characters from Swordsman renamed. No.
General angst, yes, there is general angst
In the beginning,
in the
yeah.
first chapter.
Yeah.
High school setting, not.
No. DLC
It is
high school.
canon. It is canon. Characters you just hate. Not really, unless like Sans just being like making no sense whatsoever
No.
counts as like hating.
No, I wouldn't even say harem yet. It wasn't really gotten to that point.
No.
All right.
Overall, confusing story overall.
Yes.
Yes.
What was that?
Overwritten.
Underwritten.
Honestly, I feel like
written.
I feel like the I guess yeah, underwritten. Yeah, sorry. I guess this wouldn't count as being overwritten, but the fact that like the first chapter has nothing to do with the rest of the story kind of feels like it's overwritten.
Three prologues.
3 prologues, but like the first one that just talks about like how Sans like that the whole AU thing, only for it just to get completely dropped.
Dude,
I don't know. I don't think it counts as being. I don't think it counts as overwritten, but
no, I was saying underwritten.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, this is like,
dude, the confusing story for me is not even the lore dump in the beginning, dude. It's the freaking implications of the entire story make no sense.
Yeah.
Full of factually incorrect statements. That's what else I'm putting in. I'm not sure full of random nonsense filler. Well,
we get to the qualitative score.
Yeah, alright.
The thumbnail? That's a really hard one to judge. Is that an amazing thumbnail or a fucking horrible one?
So, for the people that can't see it in this video, the thumbnail is literally just a picture presumably taken of fanfiction, the website, with nothing. It's this weird... I don't know what to say, man.
Ver fanfic.
Yeah, it just says ver fanfic for some reason.
And videos underneath it.
It's confusing. I'm gonna say mid-tier.
Mid-tier?
It's not particularly memorable. It's not great. But the fact that it's so confusing as a thumbnail and why it even exists is interesting enough to make me question it being low tier. It's very interesting. It's not great, it's interesting. Right.
The thumbnail or the title?
Oh, the thumbnail.
Yeah, the thumbnail.
The title... That's...
I'd say it's low tier. It's just very descriptive, but it's not that funny.
Yeah, description, low tier.
Insane with description. Funny
Was
though.
it funny?
I'd rate it high tier funny. That's fucking.
It is pretty funny.
I laughed a lot during the story.
Memorability.
Very high as well.
Very high. All right, let's add the qualitative scores. That's 2, and that's I have 5, right? Yeah, I have 5. 2, 1, 1, so 4, and 6, so 10. Right.
So it gets a 10.
So you add 10 to the thing. What?
Well,
I made a mistake.
Oops.
I made a horrible mistake. Well, alright. Alright, sorry guys. I'm gonna have to go back to, where is it? Wow, I messed up. See, the problem is I forgot to, in settings here, this won't happen later on, in settings, on quiz, I forgot to put point values. I do that too.
Ouch.
So I literally just did a quiz and it doesn't tell you the point values by the end of it. Yeah, alright, let's just
well, you got a 19 out of 88, so whatever that means.
19, what are you talking about?
No, sorry, it just says on the response.
What?
Yeah, whatever. You know, on the separate tab? You see at the top it says questions and responses?
I'm doing this again. I'm gonna get point values. Unacceptable, minor formatting issues, redundancies. We didn't check attempted humor. Did we check attempted humor?
We did not. I don't think we did.
Alright, blatantly retcons character status of interest. Did we check that? I don't think we did.
No, we didn't.
Character derail. Premise story flawed. Hijacks franchises, no real point. Poor motivations. Stupid powers, terrible implications. Next. OC self. No. Gary Sue. Humanization. Stories ignore something blatantly wrong. General angst. Confusing story overall, full of factually incorrect statements. Or did 2, 1, 1, 3, 3. There we go. Alright, sorry, that won't happen again. Future view score. Yeah. Great. So that is 29. The story has gotten 29. That's its final score. 29.
Nice.
Yeah, not bad. The reason why it didn't get much higher is because there's a lot of degeneracy in not safe for work fan fictions.
Yes, that's true.
But this is still a very decent safe for work Wall of Shame entry. I think that's I think that's a good intro to our Wall of Shame series on YouTube.
Actually, I think so too, to be honest.
This was a 2 hour and 30-minute video.
Eesh.
Alright. Well, have fun, y'all. I don't know.
Yeah, see you around.
Stay toasty.